Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening at whatever time you are listening this. So today we are starting with the Polycythemia vera. Polycythemia vera is one of the myeloproliferative neoplasm. I taught you in last class about the myeloproliferative neoplasm. These are CML, Polycythemia vera, ET, that is essential thrombocythemia, primary myelofibrosis, and chronic eosinophilic leukemia, then chronic neutrophilic leukemia, and MPN unclassified. So all these are, and one more thing is mastocytosis. Mastocytosis. So all these are MPN. Among these, I have taught you about the CML. So today we are taking this polycythemia vera. One thing also I told you in last lecture, that is all MPN are BCR ABL negative except CML. CML is BCR ABL. BCR ABL means there is a translocation of BCR ABL is present in CML, while polycythemia vera, ET, and PMF show negativity. There is a no BCR ABL positivity is there. Now, what is happening in the polycythemia vera? Just have a brief review. There is a hematopoietic stem cell is there. From hematopoietic stem cells, two lineages are going to arise, that is myeloid stem cells and lymphoid stem cells. The myeloid means all the three cell lineage, that is RBC, platelet, and the WBC except lymphocyte, because the lymphocyte are coming in the lymphoid lineage. So whenever we are using the pan myelosis word, that means pan means all the lineages of the myeloid series are going to increase. So myeloid means these three cell series. So what is going to happen? So what is going to happen in the case of the polycythemia vera? In polycythemia vera, all these cell series are going to increase, but there is a overproduction of the RBC, more and more RBC production, though there is a platelet, though there is a increase in the platelet, increase in the WBC is there, but there is a overproduction of the RBC is there. Now, in polycythemia vera is a clonal BCR ABL negative MPN. It is characterized by the increased red cell, blood volume, splenomegaly, and there is a JAK2 mutation. This is exon 14. This is exon 14, and either there can be involvement of the exon 14 or exon 12. And it is characterized by the pan myelosis. I told you in this diagram, pan myelosis is there. So there is a leukocytosis, thrombocytosis, and the erythroid series is also going to increase. What is pathophysiology? Coming to the pathophysiology of the essential thrombocythemia. In essential thrombocythemia, the erythropoietin, which is produced by the kidney. So, and this erythropoietin receptor is present over the hematopoietic stem cell. So whenever the erythropoietin comes in contact with the erythropoietin receptor, there is stimulation of this receptor, and via this there is a production of the RBC, and this JAK2 is involved with the regulation of this erythropoietin receptor. So this is all normal condition. JAK2 is involved with the regulation of this erythropoietin receptor. But what happens in the polycythemia vera? This is mutant. There is a mutation of the JAK2 is there. So without stimulation, the erythropoietin receptor get activated. So there is a all time or continuous activation of the erythropoietin receptor is there. It will lead to the over or enhanced production of the RBC. So there is a overproduction of the RBC is there. Now, kidney produces the erythropoietin hormone which bind to the erythropoietin receptor, and it is present over the, this is hematopoietic stem cells. This is cell membrane of this. So erythropoietin receptor is present over the hematopoietic stem cell, and this control the RBC production. JAK2 is involved with the intracellular signaling and involved with the regulation of this receptor for erythropoietin. And when there is mutation in this gene, when there is a mutation in this gene, this lead to the continuous activation of the receptor. In absence of erythropoietin, there is a overproduction of the RBC is there. Now, in greater than 90 to 97% of the cases, there is a mutation of the JAK2. While the few cases of triple negative means there is a CAL-R, calreticulin, MPL, all are negative. These type of cases has also been seen, that is triple negativity is seen in 0 to 1% of the cases, and less than 1% of the cases, there's a MPL positivity is also seen. Because I told you in the last class, that is in polycythemia vera, ET and PMF. In polycythemia vera, majority of the cases there is a JAK2 mutation is there, while in ET and PMF, driver mutation. Driver mutations are these three: JAK2, CAL-R and MPL. So either JAK2, either CAL-R or MPL is there. So what is the percentage of this? This will depend on that only. Now, what are the coming to the diagnostic criteria for polycythemia vera? According to the newest guideline, that is 2016 World Health Organization guideline. There are three major criteria for this. There are three major criteria and one minor criteria. This is one minor criteria is there. The number one major criteria is dealing with the hemoglobin, hematocrit or RBC mass. Now, it says the hemoglobin should be more than 16 gram per deciliter in female, or more than 16.5 gram per deciliter in male, or hematocrit more than 48% or more than 49% respectively in female and male, and there is a greater than 25% of the RBC mass. So this is WHO criteria number one. It deals with the hemoglobin, hematocrit and the red cell mass. So more than 16.5 gram per deciliter hemoglobin in male, more than 16 gram per deciliter hemoglobin in male, or either this, or according to the on the basis of hematocrit, that is more than 49% and 48% with respect to the age, with respect to the sex, and red cell mass, that is if it is more than 25% above the mean normal predictive value. Number two criteria deals with the bone marrow. Number two major criteria is deal with the bone marrow, and number one criteria with the peripheral blood, that is hemoglobin, hematocrit and RBC. Number two criteria says there is a hypercellularity. And what kind of hypercellularity? Trilineage. I told you in the last one, trilineage. Trilineage means all the three cell series. This we can use the word trilineage, we can use word panmyelosis, we can use any of that word, panmyelosis, trilineage. So there is what kind of hypercellularity in the bone marrow? Trilineage growth or panmyelosis, including erythroid granulocytic or megakaryocytic proliferation. And the important thing about this megakaryocyte in this case is pleomorphic megakaryocyte. What does this pleomorphic means? There is a variation in the size of the megakaryocyte. Few megakaryocytes are small, few are in intermediate size, and few are larger. So there is a variation in the size of the megakaryocytes are there. So this nature is called pleomorphic nature of the megakaryocytes, and this is the characteristic for the polycythemia vera. And the number three criteria deal with the mutation. So presence of the JAK2 mutation, either exon involving exon 14 or exon 12 mutation. So these three are the major criteria. And the number one minor criteria is subnormal or low erythropoietin. So when do we call it as a case of polycythemia vera, either all the three major criteria or one and two major criteria and minor criteria, or number three criteria only and minor criteria. In this case, in this scenario, there should be sustained erythrocytosis should be there. I am revising the thing. These three are the major criteria. These three are the major criteria, and this is minor criteria. So to be called it as a polycythemia vera, all the three major criteria should be there, or two major criteria and one minor criteria, or number third major criteria and minor criteria. But when this is there, there should be sustained erythrocytosis. Sustained erythrocytosis should be there. So this is the condition when we will call it as a polycythemia vera. Now, what are the clinical feature in the case of the polycythemia vera? Polycythemia is insidious in the onset, and the majority of the cases of polycythemia vera are acquired. Means there is a after birth the patient acquired this condition. So only few cases show family history, positivity in family history. Otherwise, normally majority of the cases are acquired. Now, what are the risk factor? Age. It involve elderly patient, elderly age group. It involves elderly age group. Sex. Polycythemia vera is more common in male as compared to the female, and there are less family history because majority of them are acquired. While we are talking this polycythemia vera, we can compare here about the ET and PMF. That is, in these two conditions, the male and female are equally predisposed. While in polycythemia vera, it is more common in male as compared to the female. Now, what are the sign and symptom for polycythemia vera? In polycythemia vera, all sign and symptom are because of the overburden of the RBC or volume, or because of the, or number one, because of the increased RBC, or because of the increased volume, or because of the thrombosis, because thrombotic, because there are more and more platelets are there, so thrombosis. And the other feature is bleeding. This is because of the whatever the increased platelet are there, they are defective. That's why there are bleeding. So there are two things are going simultaneously in this polycythemia vera: thrombotic event as well as hemorrhagic event. So it is called thrombohemorrhagic events. And the reason being, increase in the platelet is there. So there is a thrombosis, and bleeding is because of the defective nature of this platelet. So the symptom, all sign and symptom are because of these number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, the number 1 is headache, itching, plethoric faces, shortness of the breath, and the weight loss. Itching is important feature because itching is after taking warm water bath. Itching is after taking warm water bath, because after taking warm water bath, there is release of the histamine via the mast cell or basophil, because there is a degranulation of the degranulations of from these cells. Now, other important feature are numbness, tingling sensation, and erythromalagia. Erythromalagia is again important feature. Erythro means redness. Malagia means there is a pain sensation or painful extremities are there. This is because the microvasculature of the leg, in the microvessels, there is a thrombosis there. So there is a pain here in the extremity, and the redness is there. So the term is given erythromalagia. The other sign is symptom is chest pain. There is a splenomegaly. Splenomegaly is because of the extramedullary hematopoiesis, or there is a spleen is overburden. Overburden of the spleen is because there is a destruction of the RBC are there in the spleen. The other important feature is fatigue, bleeding complication, and the abdominal pain. Abdominal pain is because of the splenomegaly. Now, patient will present with these three. Patient will present because of these three feature: hyperviscosity, because of the increased RBC mass, sludging of the blood flow is because of that only, and there is a thrombosis. And because of these three, there will be headache, dizziness, vertigo, tinnitus, and all this. Now, I told you that there is a thrombohemorrhagic event. So there is a thrombotic event as well as bleeding events going simultaneously. So patient can present with the gum bleeding, epistaxis, venous thrombosis, arterial thrombus. Now, other thing, our patient can present with the abdominal pain, pruritus. Now, coming to the phases, there are three phases of polycythemia vera. First is pre-polycythemic phase, overt polycythemic phase, and spent phase. As I told you, in polycythemia vera, there is overproduction of the RBC, WBC, all the WBC except lymphocyte and platelet. Means we can use the word there is a granulocytic hyperplasia, and platelet also going to increase. But there is a, compared to these two, there is a overproduction of the RBCs are there. Now, depending on this phase, what phase is there in the patients, the symptom will be likewise, or the production of the cell will be likewise. When there is a pre-polycythemic phase, means the phase has not been established yet. So just there is a pre-form is there. In this condition, the production of all these cell lineages are mild. Means there is a mild increase in the RBC, mild increase in the WBC and platelet likewise. So symptom will be according to that only, and the bone marrow features are accordingly. So in pre-polycythemic phase, all the sign symptom are mild and the production of the cells also are mild. And in the overt phase, this is full-fledged condition of the polycythemia vera. So there is overproduction of all the three cell lineages. And the spent phase, we can use this term, we can use the term burnt out phase. Means now the factory has become exhausted, so all the lineages are going to decrease in this phase. Now, this picture I have taken from the atlas and textbook of the hematology. According to that, pre-polycythemic phase, there is a mild to borderline erythrocytosis, and symptom are likewise. There's a mild venous or arterial thrombosis. Patient can present with these signs and symptoms, but they are mild because all the cell lineages are mildly increased. Now, in the overt and the spent phase, in the overt phase, there is a significant increase in the RBC. There is a significant increase in the RBCs are there. And the other important feature is there is a 0 to 1 grade fibrosis is also present in the overt phase. I told you in previous slide also, the characteristic nature of the megakaryocytes is pleomorphism. There is a pleomorphic nature of the megakaryocyte is there. Now, in the spent phase, the factory has become exhausted, so there is a cytopenia. There is cytopenia is there. And the other important feature is leukoerythroblastic picture. Leuko means WBC and erythroblastic means RBC. So leukoerythroblastic means the immature forms of this WBC and immature forms of the RBCs are there in the peripheral blood. And why there is this immature form come into the PBF? Because there is extramedullary hematopoiesis is there. And when there is extramedullary hematopoiesis is take place, then the immature cell releases into the peripheral blood. So there is NRBC, that is nucleated RBC, and metamyelocytes or myelocyte can be seen in the PBS. So when these two things seen simultaneously, that means we should have idea, means something these cells are produced from some extra sites like from spleen or from liver. So this is leukoerythroblastic blood picture. And the other important thing is teardrop cells. This is when the RBC production is there from the fibrosed marrow. The reason of this teardrop cells is the production of the RBC from the fibrosed marrow. So the cytopenia is there, leukoerythroblastic blood picture is there, and teardrop cells are there. And here the important feature is fibrosis is of grade 0 to 3. Now, this was all about the phases of polycythemia vera. In short, pre-polycythemic phase, overt polycythemic phase, and spent phase. Now, what are the investigation you would like to do? First, hematological investigation, bone marrow, and molecular studies. In hematology, when we are going to do hematological study, then you should have idea about major as well as minor criteria. What are the minor? Because on that only we are giving the term as a polycythemia vera. The other is bone marrow finding. Bone marrow, the characteristic feature I told you, there is a trilineage hyperplasia, or we can use the word panmyelosis. And the other characteristic feature is pleomorphic megakaryocytes. Pleomorphic megakaryocytes are there. And the reticulin fibrosis is depend on the which phase is there. If it is a overt phase, then 0 to 1 grade fibrosis. And if there is spent phase, then 2 to 3 grade fibrosis is there. Now coming to the molecular studies, there is a JAK2 mutation is there. It can involve exon 14 or exon 12. In majority of the cases, over the 90%, 95 over the 95% of the cases, it involve the exon 14. Only 2 to 3% of the cases the exon 12 is involved, and exon 12 only involved in the case of polycythemia vera, while in other MPN there is a no exon 12 involvement is there. So whenever there is a word exon 12 specifically, then you should have idea, okay, this is polycythemia vera, because in polycythemia vera only exon 12 involvement is there. Now other thing is, just by seeing the smear only you can judge ki yes, it is polycythemic smear, or it is anemic smear, or it is a smear of the gammopathy. This is how the normal smear look like. And in the anemia, you can see it is almost transparent because there is a no hemoglobin RBC. In polycythemic, there is a, because of the concentration of the blood, because of the RBC and hemoglobin. So this is concentrated smear. And the nature of the bluish nature of this smear is because of the immunoglobulins that take up the basophilic stain. So just by viewing the peripheral blood, you should have idea what type of disease it could be. Now, this is peripheral blood under the 40X. This is 40X. You can see here there is some spaces are there in RBC, but here you can see the overcrowding of the RBC. So this is case of polycythemia vera. Now this is peripheral blood, PBF, and this is bone marrow. This is an RBC, nucleated RBC, and this is myelocytes. This picture I have taken from Tejinder Singh book. Here you can see the panmyelosis. These are megakaryocyte, and rest of the picture showing the granulocytic as well as RBC production. Now all these are megakaryocytes. So there is a pleomorphism. You can see the size is this much and this size is of this much. So there is a pleomorphism is there. Now this is overt phase. All the cell lineages are going to increase. RBC, WBC, and platelet. All lineages are going to increase. So it is a trilinear hyperplasia is there. All these are the megakaryocytes. Now, JAK2 mutation, as I told you, only 3 to 5% of the cases exon 12 involvement is there. In the rest of the cases, there is exon 14 involvement is there. Now, you have to assess the mutation burden status also, because when the burden is more, the prognosis is poor. So, prognosis is worst in the case of polycythemia vera when we are comparing with the ET or PMF. So prognosis is good in the case of ET, because in ET, the burden of this JAK2 is less than 40%. So burden of the JAK2 allele is less than 40% in case of ET, while in polycythemia vera, the allele burden, JAK2 allele burden is more than 40%. So the prognosis is good in the ET, while prognosis is bad in the case of polycythemia vera. The other, we have to quantify also, because quantification is important to judge the prognosis of the MPN. Now, there are some somatic mutations also being detected. These are, you have to keep in mind that these are the TAT1, TT2, ASXL1, SH2B3, SF3BI. And the more the mutation, more the poor the outcome. This is rule. Now, masked polycythemia and masked polycythemia, these have occult pre-polycythemic disease, and the hemoglobin is in this range in male and female. You can have idea when it is case of essential thrombocythemia and the JAK allele2 burden is more than 40%, then you should have idea, or you should rule out the polycythemia vera, because when the allele burden is more than 40% in the case of ET, there is occult pre-polycythemic phase is there. Occult pre-polycythemic phase is there, and this is definitely the case of masked polycythemia vera. Now, polycythemia vera can be two types: absolute polycythemia and relative polycythemia. Absolute means there is a true increase in the RBC. True in these three things, there is a true increase in the RBC, and in the relative, there is a no increase in the RBC. There is no increase in the RBC, but there is decrease in the plasma. Decrease in the plasma, and because of the decrease in the plasma, it looked like concentrated blood. So it might be the polycythemia vera, but it is not true polycythemia. To be called it is a true polycythemia, the truly RBC should be more. Absolute polycythemia can be three types: primary polycythemic when the cause is MPN; secondary polycythemia when the cause is because of the decreased oxygen, or that is in the case of the high altitude, or because of the secondary malignancy, or either it can be because of the when the patient over transfused, and in the case of the over transfusion, the RBCs are more in the blood. Now, as I told you, in the case of the relative polycythemia, this is just an apparent rise in the erythrocyte level because of the reduced blood plasma. So it look like concentrated blood, and this is seen specifically in the case of the burn, dehydration, and the stress condition. And the polycythemia vera absolute is because of the in the case of the primary polycythemia, the cause is MPN, and the secondary is because of the malignancy, that is renal cell carcinoma or erythropoietin secreting tumors. So these are there. And what is the diagnostic workup for the polycythemia vera? For diagnosis, you have to take detailed history, physical examination, and the CBC, complete blood count of the patient. And the other thing is serum erythropoietin level and the mutation screening. When these favors for polycythemia vera, then only we will go for the next. This is primary and this is secondary. Now, the three thing is diagnosis require the integration of the hematological, clinical, and the molecular data. And the secondary cause of the erythrocytosis we have to rule out. Yes, there is no cause for the secondary erythrocytosis. Now, prognosis, coming to the prognosis and the course of the disease, survival time is greater than 10 years when the patient takes the treatment, and in absence of the taking treatment, the survival time reduced. The cause of the death in the polycythemia is because of the thrombosis or hemorrhage, and 20% can convert it into the AML myelofibrosis. In the case, in the course of this polycythemia vera, there is extramedullary hematopoiesis is there in the spleen. Patient may develop anemia, thrombocytopenia, specifically in the spent phase or burnt out phase. Now, treatment part, in the treatment, our aim is to reduce the RBC mass. For that, we do the phlebectomy, or we give the antiplatelet drug, that is anagrelide. For the when there is an increased RBC are there, ultimately because of the destruction of that cells, there is an increase in the uric acid. So because of this increased uric acid, there is a gout can precipitate. So we give the allopurinol. The other modality of the treatment is alpha interferon, ruxolitinib, and the newest drug is ropinterferon, and it is being introduced in 2019. Whenever you are reading the polycythemia vera, you should have idea regarding what is going in the essential thrombocythemia and what is going there in the primary myelofibrosis. So just first have a look over the polycythemia vera. The important thing in the bone marrow of the polycythemia vera is pleomorphism, that is different sizes of the megakaryocyte. There is no dysplasia, and depending on the phase, if it is pre-polycythemic phase, there is a mild increase in the RBC. In the case of the overt, there is a significant, and then in the spent phase, there is a decrease in the RBC. And there is, of course, there is a panmyelosis, but it's mild, but there is a panmyelosis pronounced, and there is a cytopenia in the spent phase, and accompanied by the leukoerythroblastic reaction and teardrop cells. And in overt phase, fibrosis is 0 to 1 grade, and in the spent phase, the more and more fibrosis is there. Now we are comparing this polycythemia vera, bone marrow picture of the polycythemia vera, with the ET or MF. Here, I want to tell you that in ET, it is unilinear hyperplasia. ET, it is unilinear hyperplasia, means among the myeloid. In myeloid, I told you the three lineages are there: RBC, all the granulocytic series, and the platelet. So among all these, there is a overproduction of the platelet. So it is unilinear. It involves the one lineage of the myeloid. So it can be called as a unilinear hyperplasia. Rest, these two cell lineages are not going to increase so much or can be normal. So in the ET, platelet is increased, and bone marrow is mildly hyperplasia because one lineage is going to increase. So there is no hyperplasia of the bone marrow, and the characteristic nuclei of the this megakaryocyte are staghorn nucleus and the hyperlobulated nucleus of the megakaryocyte. This word hyperlobulated nucleus is important because there is a hypolobulated nucleus in the case of primary myelofibrosis. There is no dysmegakaryopoiesis, no atapia, no nucleocytoplasmic asynchrony is there. While all these, that is asynchrony, atapia, and dysmegakaryopoiesis is seen in myelofibrosis. And in MF, we can say it is bilinear hyperplasia because in this granulocyte as well as platelet, these two cell lineages are going to increase while RBC series remain normal. So these two cell series, granulocytic as well as platelets, are going to increase. So we can use the term bilinear hyperplasia. So WBC and platelet are going to increase but in the later condition, fibrosis, they decreases. The important feature in the balloon or cloud-like nuclei, while in essential thrombocythemia, there is word staghorn nuclei are there, and here the nuclei are hypolobulated, while in ET there was hyperlobulated nuclei was there, and here the dysplastic megakaryocytes are there. So we compared here, and when I will take the lecture over the PMF and ET, I will separately tell you this in detail. Now just have a look of the bone marrow picture of PV. This is polycythemia vera. This is PMF, and this is ET. Just by looking how much the cellulite is there, because in polycythemia vera, because in the polycythemia vera there is a trilinear hyperplasia is there, trilinear hyperplasia. So it is a hypercellular. All three cell myelin cell series are going to increase. So it is a hypercellular. And in the PMF, bone marrow cellularity is in between the polycythemia vera and ET. And ET has decreased cellularity, not exactly decreased, but when we are comparing with the polycythemia vera and PMF, in compared to these two conditions, the bone marrow cellularity is decreased. And then this is all about the comment over the cellularity. Then you have to look over the megakaryocyte. Here there is a pleomorphism is there, while here in the case of the primary myelofibrosis, this plastic nature is there, asynchrony is there, then two cell series bilinear hyperplasia is there, while here unilinear hyperplasia is there, and the nature of the megakaryocytes, there is hyperlobulated nuclei or staghorn nuclei are there. So this was all about the polycythemia vera. These are references. Thank you very much.